We're back, Tri-State Sports Guys, top of K-Radio Studios here in Norwalk. Speaking of Norwalk, we got a huge football game this past week, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 2 huge games for Norwalk.
Yeah. Let's get into the first one, since Tony's Brian McMahon High School. I mean, with the Senators? Is that what they have?
They are the Senators.
They got tucked in. They got tucked in for the season. Special thanks to AJ Albano for never showing up. I guess he should have spent more time in the film room.
I just got to tell you, I mean, they got 2 rookie coaches. We got one coach who came in here several times. His players, his locker room made themselves available to us. They're going on to play the second round of the States. The other guy wouldn't return a phone call, wouldn't return an email.
His AD told you he was going to play. He was going to come.
He specifically told me he's definitely on. Here's his number. Go ahead. Crickets I got on the other end.
You know
Tony's his boy.
I don't feel bad in the least that his team got run off.
I've never been happy.
Looking back, the idea that I thought McMahon would score 3 points is insane.
Yeah, listen, the only guy
and it's 70 total yards.
We had Mike Quick, who knows high school sports more than anybody in the area, right? MSG.
He's the dean of high school sports.
I went into a bunch of games. You went to a bunch of games. Tony follows. The only person who predicted it correctly was who? Your boy Tomar. Blowout.
He was right.
He was right.
And he didn't even play.
He didn't even play, but he knew.
He didn't even play. Tone, you were there. Tell me your thoughts.
Tell me a little bit about it. I mean, how many first downs did the
They had 70 total yards, I heard.
It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, and the last 2 weeks.
How's that happen? They played good against Greenwich. I mean, not against Greenwich. They played good against Staples.
How can you not be fired up against your rival?
They didn't look like it. Just.
They were so scared.
Did they look flat, or was Norwich just that good?
Beyond flat. It was just terrible. I mean, Norwich played well. I walked in right when they scored their first touchdown. Whoever that was, was 41. Running back?
Oh, no, 41's Gillarujo.
He ran over a couple people. When I got
he took that little screen. You see the highlight of that?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike T for his highlights. Gillarujo did a Mark Bavaro.
I'm walking down the stairs coming to the game, and I'm like, who is this kid?
He saw this dude come in the door. I told you, he sized that kid up.
He was a monster.
He's a big dude, friendliest guy you'll ever meet, but yeah.
I could not, but I was like, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised because they played so well against some of these teams. And
these very good teams. You look at Staples went out and beat Greenwich.
Yep.
You know, you look at who they played. New Canaan really tough.
Mike Quick said they were the best 3-win team in the state.
Yeah.
That means it didn't look like it.
Yeah.
It did not.
They should get their own little tournament.
You know, though, that Mike Quick, he came on our show. He didn't give us a pick, but he said people were going to be very angry at him and his family. He wound up taking the Bears on his show.
And then I said to him, and he said he told Sean that he was picking
the Senator.
Yeah, he said he was picking them.
Yeah, no.
He must have changed his mind.
Yeah, he must have looked at some film and said, "Oh boy."
I'm surprised that it was that much of a blowout. But that's a great job.
I was surprised.
That's a great job by them, and a must-win because even though they were having a great year, it's still a must-win for Norwalk to get into the playoffs.
Right.
And Tomar got hurt. He hurt his foot, and they decided not to play him. Here's a senior. They decided not to play him.
Yeah. They've got 3 legit running backs. Francois, they split him out a lot too, and he catches the ball, but he gets the ball out of the backfield. And that kid Anzalone, we'll start transitioning over to the game that they just played last night. They played up at Conard High School. And this kid Anzalone, he scores a touchdown, 2 interceptions on defense. They just have so many players that are really good at it. They come at you in so many different ways. I mean, Tomar scored a touchdown, but he wasn't 100%. He didn't get he didn't get a ton of carries. But then they can come at you with Anzalone. They got the quarterback who could run the ball. I think he led the team in rushing, Delshawn Wilson. Yeah. And then he hit our boy Derek Edwards on an 88-yard touchdown pass. What I thought was great was I was in Florida. You were working. You couldn't go up to the game. But you had told me, you could follow it on Twitter. I was getting some updates. We had a bunch of friends up there. My father-in-law was up there sending me updates. But this guy, Tom Renner from the Daily Norwalk, was doing a good job. And there was
he did an average job.
Well, he did an average job. Who's the other guy?
I don't know who he was. He was from some northern Connecticut.
Yeah, something.
And this guy was giving you a play-by-play.
He was giving opinions. Yeah, he was good.
And what I felt like I was there because what you saw was that in the Norwalk Hour, I had read this article about how Coach Allen, it was his first year, and he was going against a guy with 29 years of experience on this team. He was an awful coach.
Everyone, and I talked to people that were there in different pockets.
I could tell on Twitter he was awful.
Different pockets of people that don't even know each other. So it wasn't like a group of people watching the game together. All of them said, to a T, this guy was a terrible coach, and Sean completely outcoached him. This team, for the season, Tone, outscored their opponents 287 to 85. 287.
They scored 40 points like 3 or 4 times.
That means and then that's in 10 games. That means they're outscoring their opponents by 20 points a game. And they got a guy, a 1,000-yard rusher. What everybody told me was it looked like Norwalk couldn't stop their run. And yet they get down at the end of the half. They have 1st and goal from like the 6-yard line, and this guy just is trying to throw the ball. And he's not trying to pound it in, and he doesn't get in. And it's amazing.
You're the one who told me that they were passing it too much because they weren't giving every play on Twitter. I read the article. That fullback that Coach Allen had told us, he said they have a really good fullback. The guy was averaging 7 yards a carry. He had 140 yards for the game, and even the article was like, and he didn't get the ball much in the second half.
It said that they bottled him up to the tune of 140 yards. Yeah.
And it's like, why do you give him the ball? And now listen.
And it was pouring rain. It was terrible weather. So they're saying, everybody, and I talked to a whole bunch of different people, and all of them said, this coach just didn't, you go this whole season, and the coach in that article in the Hour even said, when you get to a game like this, you do what you do, and you do it well.
And he did the opposite.
And he did the exact opposite. You had the guys running for 1,000 yards, they had 3 good backs, and then that's what they wound up doing.
And I give Sean a lot of credit because it's really easy for a new coach, and your team hasn't been in that type of game, to kind of almost overthink it and try a little too hard and make these crazy plays. And he knows they're a running team, they do some play action, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And he just stuck with that.
Like he said he was going to do.
And he stuck with that and it kept working. I texted you because in the 4th quarter tone, Conrad, whatever you call them, they had the ball to start the quarter, and they put on a drive that must have lasted 90% of the quarter to score 1 touchdown. They went for 2.
They got the 2.
They
went
for 2 for some reason.
Down 21.
But now there's only 2 minutes left. They almost like ran the clock out on themselves. I didn't understand what was going on.
I think it was pouring rain. There was nothing they could do. From what I was told, you were not throwing the ball there.
Well, it's like finally you figured out you can't throw the ball.
They converted on that drive. It was 3rd and 34 after a couple penalties. They converted it on a 35-yard run.
What?
Yes. Can you imagine? That's the kind of running attack this team had, Tone.
Wow.
And so then they have 3 interceptions and a blocked punt and a blocked field goal or something.
Yeah, right.
Great job. That's a great team win.
Great, and you know what it is? I mean, we talk about the senior class all the time because it's such a great senior class, but you could see, I mean, they probably, and this team had gone to the States 3 consecutive years. All these guys had all the experience in the world playing in a big game. Exactly. It comes down to good coaching and a senior class that just has the confidence. Although they have never been to the state playoffs, they played together for a long time, started a lot of games. It's an amazing story. I mean, we really think about it. It's an amazing story. They're sitting here in the semifinals of the state playoffs.
I don't understand how it's the semis already, but we were talking about that earlier. Aren't there a lot of teams? Like how many
classes?
How many classes are there?
I mean, I know M, L, double L.
4.
Yeah, there's a small one. Yeah, there's at least 4 classes. I mean, how many teams do you want to get in there?
I don't know.
Because it wasn't like this when we didn't have this many teams. In our state.
For Class M, you were Class M, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we never had this problem.
Each just knows guys. They had 1 game in the States, and
that was it. Yeah, so I don't remember being this many games. Yeah,
I don't know anything about this Xavier team. All I know is they're #1 in the state, and they light it on fire. And then Tony sent me their website today, and they have a tab on their website for recruitment. So that's I don't think there's a tab on a Norwalk High School website.
I don't think there is a Norwalk High School website.
This team, they averaged 35 points a game.
Me and Shawnee had filmed a show that didn't make it to the website. We had some technical
I gotta see that. We have to see that show.
Yeah, we gotta see because he had predicted some different things. But after we hung out, had a few beers in my house, and I asked him, I said, well, so have you, I'm not trying to look ahead, but who? And he goes, I'm just, to be honest with you, the team that scares everyone is this Xavier team. He said, they're like a college football team. He goes, like everybody on both sides of the ball is going to go play in college. They are a team that's like ranked in the tri-state area. And, out of the tri-state area, Connecticut's kind of the little brother here. And he said they can go and play in the Jersey schools. They can go and play in some of the New York schools. Like, they're that good.
Yeah, when you get up there, up north.
Where was it, Middletown?
Yeah, when you get up to those Massac teams, Newtowns, teams
Pomperaug,
are serious football.
Those Valley boys.
We're going to be there, so I'm interested to see now. Thinking as a coach what I would do in this situation, because they play on Saturday, which is insane. It's insane from an injury standpoint. It's insane.
Well, they play Thursday, so that means in the course of
Thursday, Tuesday, Saturday.
That means in the course of 11 games they're playing 3. You can't, if you're a little league pitcher, you can't even pitch that many times.
You know what? I was talking to Sean about it, and he said it's a shame because it's there's a huge injury risk, and I said, unfortunately, it won't be an issue until somebody gets hurt, and then it's going to be, why did we do this? It's crazy that we did this.
Right.
So looking at when you're playing a team like that, where I think Norwalk could have some trouble is that they run a type of offense that is so they have no problem saying this is who we are. We're a run team and then we run play action. Right. I feel like to beat a team like that on short rest, you could have the advantage if you had some sort of gimmick offense that team doesn't have time to prepare for. So maybe, I'm just thinking, maybe this is the time where any trick play you possibly have needs to come out.
It's really funny you say this. I was talking to Peter today about what are they going to do? This team is unbelievable. And I said, this is the time you dip into some trick plays.
I mean, we are on the same page.
And we don't agree much. I said, on defense, you're sitting in the house because you got the way they beat this Connor team was 4 turnovers. You got to keep the pressure. You have a great secondary. I mean, literally a great. I don't care what kind of athletes they have.
You got to use your strength.
You got to use their strength, and you know what? You're gonna say we got Anselm, we got Delstrom, we got these guys. We're gonna play up on them. We're gonna get after them.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You went out there firing away. You cannot play any kind of conservative football, but you do need to try to establish the run, and you're gonna mix in some trick plays, but you're not gonna just sit there and go plays on the field. But they're gonna need to run the ball, and I don't know this team, but. Really, the only time that they got stopped all season was for that 1 quarter and a half from New Canaan. Second quarter into the third quarter.
Beating up their line.
They were just beating up, but then they wound up coming back towards the end and they were running the ball well. So I think you just got to stick with it. They got some big boys up front. They got 3 good backs, like we said. Hopefully, Tomar's 100% healthy. He'll be fired up for the game. And you know what? You got this kid, this quarterback, who's a special talent. Just say you got to go out there and win the game. You know what I mean? I don't care. There's not many quarterbacks with that kind of mobility in this whole state that also can throw the ball, and complete an 88-yard touchdown pass.
I think that is probably. I'm guessing that's what. I have no idea what he's going to do. I hope he's a great coach, obviously, and he knows what he's doing. He knows his team. But I would imagine any trick play, any wrinkle they have up their sleeve, maybe not even trick play, just some sort of wrinkle, is going to be used because you have to give yourself. You have the advantage of having 3 days. Which will help them because this Xavier team is probably going to beat you straight up because they're number 1 in the state for a reason.
Yeah, right.
They can beat regular offenses.
Right.
So you have to try and throw some sort of wrinkle.
And you got it. You know what? We remember the first game of the season against Danbury, and Derek Edwards ran back that kick or punt, and
you got to win games.
You got to, and they said, and he told us, well, Coach Ireland had seen something in their, in their kick coverage. And we exploited it. We went right up the gut. So that's the type of thing. That's what makes Sean such a good coach. Is he's able to kind of exploit some of whatever their weakness is fine. And I'm sure he's in the film room right now. Now, one thing I have to mention.
And you brought it up to me today.
Coach Ireland was supposed to come on our show today. Talked to him last night after the game. Congratulated on the win. He was going to come in. Said, if you want to bring a player, feel free. He said, well, I'm sure they're going to be beat. I'm sure they don't want to be out. I said, all right, that's fine. I land today, I got my text messages, one of them's from Coach Ireland, not going to make it tonight. Completely understand, he's probably watching film, but I will tell you, the only other time this season where he backed out last minute, the day of, was the week in New Canaan. Their only loss. Now, I'm not a big superstitious guy, you are.
What
do you think about that?
I'm going to tell you right now.
If I were him, I would have arranged a call-in.
I think
something.
You're exactly right. If that were me,
they lose.
Coach Ireland has done everything right. He's handled everything correctly. Even their loss against New Canaan, everyone was praising him for how he handled it. If that were me, as superstitious as I am, I would find a way.
I would have had
show up
Mike
because I in my mind.
He could have been watching film as we're interviewing.
You know what? We've told this guy to get in the film room since last year.
So he's just listening to you.
All he's doing, I can't fault the guy for wanting to be in the film room for his team. I hope they win. I will be there.
I will be there.
Regardless, at this point, you get to the semis in your first year. You're 9-1 at this point.
I got it.
Nobody.
Great feeling about this game. I just think they're one of those teams, man. Nobody expected them. Nobody in the world expected them to go to the States and then win a game in the States.
I'm going to tell you something.
I'm going to tell you right now, this team is taking them off lightly, 100%. Out of the 8 teams that made the States, Norwalk was the team that everybody wanted to play.
I'm going to tell you something. You're firing me up now. I like this.
They are going to win this game.
I played baseball against a team that was 4th in the country.
Yeah.
The pitcher on the team was 29-0, got to the state finals. He pitched, gave up 1 hit in 9 innings.
Yeah.
Gave up an opposite field solo home run. 29-1, and after the game, one of my buddies said to me, "You know what? He's just another pitcher." And that makes me think, Xavier's just another team.
They're just another team.
You know what?
They're just another team. I'm telling you right now.
They've been beating everyone by 40 points. You know what? Let's say you punch somebody. Let's say you get punched.
Come down to Norwalk. We're not upstate. These Valley boys. This is Norwalk. You don't just punch us in the face.
27-20 Norwalk.
Wrap it up.
We'll be back with the Tri-State Sports guys.